What is it like to have the longest title in college football?
I can't spit it all out. I'm just happy to be here, and it's a good thing. I'm excited.
When you left Central Michigan, what was the plan? Were you considering keeping coaching or retiring, or what were you?
No, I'm too young to retire. That's not going to happen. I was looking for where could be the next great landing spot, and this was it. It was awesome. We've got a great relationship with Coach Bray and some of the other guys. Getting back out west was important to me, and I think we got a great thing going here. So I was really excited. I got invited to come be a part of it. I think it's going to be cool.
How was the job explained to you?
Well, it was. It was, hey, you're going to get in here and you're going to coach. And so it's going to be the assistant. There's those things that with Trent getting back to, taking more hands-on as the defensive coordinator, which is he should do. He's good at it. He's really good at it. And I also know, having been a defense coordinator and having been a head coach, the ways you can get drawn a little bit. And so, that was kind of what we talked about. There's some areas where you get drawn that's going to pull him to handle the defense that I can maybe pick up some other areas for him. And as he feels it needs to be directed. And I'm still working with the guys, the outside backers, and so it's cool.
Outside of the coaching part of it, how do you feel like you can contribute as the head coaching part of that? Where do you feel like you're best suited to help there?
Well, I think when there's provide input, and not just defensively, but with things that happen, having been through some of those battles, and when questions are asked or if something's going, there's a hey, you might think about this. He's the head coach. He's going to make those calls. But I think it's good to have somebody that's maybe danced through that to help out with that a little bit. I know that was something that was important to me when I was a head coach, when I had guys with experience on my staff that had maybe been in that role before. Well, that helps because you don't know till you've sat in that position. And he's still the head coach. He's going to do all those things. But I think maybe where I can, some areas that I got a couple years of experience of having done all this. We say, hey, here's another something to think about. And then he makes a call that fits what we do best.
Now, your connection to Trent is more through Craig, isn't it? I mean, you didn't really you knew Trent at high school and
growing up we tried to recruit him, and was trying to coach him, and worked with Craig obviously at Washington State, and then so coached against Trey playing over here, or Trent, excuse me, but. Known him for a long time, and and then after the years he got into coaching, and we've all remained in contact, and he's smart. That's why he was a hell of a good player. That's why we wanted him to come play for us too. But he was obviously one of the best that's played in this conference when this conference was at its best, and he's good at what he does. So it's a pretty cool thing, I think.
Yeah.
Last year, this was a defense which. Maybe wasn't as productive in some areas, rushing the passer, and others that as they would have liked to be. What do you see having to happen to improve this defense for next year?
Well, I think we got there's some new faces probably that are in to play here on the field as well as in the staff on the field. That got to get everybody on the same page, and there's got to be more production. There's no question about it. And I know that's why Trent wanted to get back involved. He wanted to be hands-on to fix it, and so we've got to be able to pressure quarterbacks better, and we got to be able to make a difference and command the ball game. That's what the defense is supposed to be able to do.
I know it's practice. But there have been times in camp so far where we've seen some pressure. How are you feeling about what you're seeing from that D-line at this point?
Well, what I think is really cool, I'm seeing some guys that are working real hard at it, and they're hungry to learn. They're hungry to work, not just on the field. And I see when we go back on the field, they're working to do things that we've talked about or that we've drilled. And so that, I think, is a real cool thing, especially when some of them, I mean, they're like me. Well, I just had my, fifth practice as a Beaver. Well, there's a couple guys in that same situation. And seeing them gain ground with some of the things that we've talked about doing. We've given them, some good things in the install, and they've handled it well. So I think that's cool. And, so the hunger and the care and the work at it is what's got me excited that we got a chance to maybe turn these guys into something. And the same, thing, you got to remember we've only had pads on for 3 days. So we got work to do. We should practice again.
From the outside looking in before joining the staff, what were the areas you identified that this defense needed to grow in?
Well, that wasn't my job to do. That's Coach Bray's job to do. And we talked about the things, obviously, when I got here. I had my hands full where I was trying to make sure we were doing things we needed to be doing. Now, coming in here, being able to say, hey, this is the way the system needs to work, as a coach, I needed to learn the system. We all needed to learn the system. And then, when there's conversation points or teaching points and things like that, then those are things that we could discuss and some stuff like that. And if you just look at the numbers, there's things that we've got to do to be more effective as a defense. Winning on third down, sacking quarterbacks. We got to get more sacks on the quarterback than what happened before. And you got to stop the run to make all that stuff happen. So all the nature of defense comes to play there, and we'll work hard, all of us together, to be able to make that work.
You kind of look at the pieces of this defense. Is there anyone who's jumping out to you early that is like, wow, this guy can play?
Well, I'm gonna be reserved on that. I think there's a few, and I can go back to what I said before. The hunger they've got and the way they're working at it, being able to see them working in the weight room and the conditioning before we got to this, and then when we started the learning end of it, and watching them, I'm seeing guys fly around on the field, and I'm seeing them when something happens that wasn't what it's supposed to have been, working to fix it and working to play fast. I think we're still going to find out who some of those guys are, and you're working to form it. So I could have a better opinion for you another time.
When you're kind of just popping around at practice, helping out where you can, is it like drinking out of a fire hose with 4 practices under it, or is it just fun walking the park for you?
No, it's awesome. There's work to do, and you hitting a fire hose, you getting hit in the face. We got a plan when we go out there, so there's something that you're working on with every aspect of the deal. So it hadn't been like that at all. No, it's been fun being in the new digs and helping some new guys and seeing them. Seeing them gain some ground and the way we've talked about making some of those things work, and it's been cool. I look forward to it even growing better. We're just getting started.
You mentioned other connections on staff that you knew of besides Trent. Who were those? How did you know them? That type of time.
Well, I coached against a lot of these guys before, for example, Gundy and known, we weren't real tight, but we've known of each other. We've got an offensive line coach here that we've coached against each other. We've recruited against each other. We've known each other for a long time. Danny Langsdorf, he's a dude that I've known for a long time. We didn't necessarily all work together, but we've known each other, being from out here. Hell, I know his daddy was a scout around us forever, everywhere I was. So, there's a lot of familiarity, whether we were good friends or acquaintances or maybe opponents at one point in time. But it feels a lot like to me for like kind of coming back home, getting back out in the Northwest, the West in particular. I miss the West.
When you've got coaches that come from different backgrounds and you come in the same room, how does it work if you've maybe come from different systems or different philosophies? How do you bring that all together?
It's easy because we got a leader that knows what he wants. And that's Trent, as you're talking about the defense. And for our football team, right? And the best thing I think you can do as a leader, the more ideas and things you got around you, that can be good. You don't want to be tunnel vision in anything that you do. So we have a responsibility to offer up some thoughts when it's time. And he's got the job of making that decision, what's going to happen. And then it's up to us to be united. We walk out that door and we go get with the players. And that's throughout the entire program. So, I think it's really a cool deal in that respect. It's awesome.
Last question.
Is that competitive nature still sort of there? You mentioned, coaching against a lot of these guys. Is it still a bit competitive when you guys get out there?
That's why we do what we do, yes. I mean, it's, we're all Beavers here, but it's offense against the defense. And you want to win the 2-minute drill. You want to win every run. You want to win every play. So, yeah, that'll never, ever change.